testing. Yeah. Okay, so the goal of this video is to show you the all singing, all dancing Norwegian Norwegian program maker. So we're going to demonstrate how we go about that. This is the periodization model I've used with huge success with all my athletes. And the beauty of it is it's standardized. So we go 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, and then deload with 2 sets, which I'll show you, and we'll go through that. But it's simplistic in nature, which means you only have to design 2 weeks. So it's quick to execute. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. I've planned a little bit ahead. So what I tend to do is I will write this bit first. So the first 3 exercises, I will write out 3 presses. So we've got log, we've got a behind the neck press, which will be a log Olympic press in the 5th week. You'll see that. 80 or 70 degree dumbbell press, front squat, back squat, deadlift from floor. So I've made it nice and easy, 3 days. I take the exercises that I've put here. So we've got 3 presses, 2 squats, 1 hip extension, so 1 deadlift. And then I put them into the week. So you see the logs there, deadlifts there, behind the neck press there, so on and so forth. Then I will go through and I will pair the relevant movements. So you now see the front squat is paired with a glute ham raise variation. The overhead dumbbell press is paired with a row. And we're going to finish off with 2 assistance movements. So after you've done that, you would go to highlight, copy and paste that into day 1. This is day 2, so we'll highlight, copy and paste that to day 2. And copy and paste that 3rd day into the 3rd day. The reason I'm doing it is these notes now will turn up, so I'll press save, in the session where I want them. So that first bit, which is shown here, is simply my planning. So if I go back and I want to review the program, I can see exactly how I've planned things. When I put them into those boxes, they appear in this box, which does not show to the client, they're only visible to me, and it's just so I can plan. Then I'm going to design the program. So let's get straight into it. So we've got clean and push press with the log. We'll go with 1 clean. The rep schemes are all set up. So I will predominantly start with 6 reps. So it'll be 3 sets of 6. You don't have the set box. You only have the scheme because everything is automatic. If you look here, it'll show you the 8-week progression. So week 1, we do 3 sets of 6. Week 2, it will set up as 4 sets of 5. So we're adding a set, dropping a rep. Same in week 3, add a set, drop a rep, 5 by 4. And then we've got the max effort week in week 4, hence the 20% spread. So the spread in these 3 weeks is 0, and then this is 20%. So again, the beauty of this Norwegian periodization model is everything pretty much is standardized. So you pick the scheme, and you pick the tempo, you pick the rest. I'm going to change that to 180 because my plan is to have the log by itself. So it's there. As you can see, you can pre-select different exercises. So I'll add the exercise. Then you'll notice now it says 3 sets of 6 reps, 0% spread. So all those bits and pieces that you didn't need to select have now appeared. So we go back to the front squat, click on the front squat. Let's go with the heels raised. Again, we'll go with 3 by 6. And I'll leave that at 90 because we have a pairing plan. So when you see that backslash, it normally means I'm doing GHG, so glute ham gastroc, in weeks, or phase 1, weeks 1 to 4, and then I'm going to change it to that when I get to week 5. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Glute ham gastroc, click, 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 increase the reps to 8, 1, 0, and done. Then we move into the assistance movements. We've got a flat back extension and a guy hammer raise. So with these, you are going to select exercise as the same, but we're going to use the assistance scheme. So I'm going to use the standard one, which is 3 by 20. You can see the 8-week progression. It goes 3 by 20 in the first week. We reduce a set because we're increasing a set in the other movements. If I increase the set here, the volume and the time of the session becomes too much. Then we've got 1 by 12. 3 by 12, and it's the same pattern with the spread. So it's 0% for 3 weeks, then 20% increase. We're looking to push it. I pretty much standardize these as 2011. It's a little hole at the top. Add exercise. That's in, and I do the same with the guy hammer. click, click, keep the same tempo. Bosh, day one is done. You may notice you've got a little camera icon. What this means, it indicates to me that the exact variation of clean and push press from blocks, one-time squat clean with the log, that exact variation technique reference video is available for the athlete. So when they look at it, they've got no excuses. And then duration of the workout is down here. So that's the A, B, and C series. Generally, I will do day one and I will copy it down. Then I will come over to these. So we'll copy that workout to week 5. Again, you see the notes have gone. We've now got the client notes in. So these are the client notes, and the other one should be in probably after we've done it. You've got the A and B series. It says start with a 12 to 15 RM. So these are the notes that are visible to the client or the athlete. So when they're in the session, they log it in, they've got that guidance. So as you can see, all of that's changed. One of the principles I generally use is I would change the exercise techniques. Let's clean all reps now. Because we're cleaning all reps, that will change the tempo ever so slightly. Front squat, we'll change to a standard front squat, but let's go with a pause. As before it said, I wanted to change the glute ham raise. Just keep it pretty simple. 7 is a bit too much for my liking, but let's go with a bit of a slower eccentric. The flat is changing to the incline back extension. Let's change the variation completely. We've got a barbell. And then the gar hammer is changing to a low cable pull-in. Just the standard one. Let's put the pause at the bottom now. Another thing to highlight, you'll notice that the reps already changed themselves. So when I copied it down, it started as 3x6, but when you go to week 5, the progression will then start at 3x5. So we go 6, 5, 4, 3, and then we go 5, 4, 3, 2. So you can see that periodization scheme slowly increasing and peaking in intensity. So that happened with the front squat and the glute ham raise. I changed manually, but the assistant scheme also changed there along with the rest period. So a lot of this stuff is built in, so you do not have to do any of the work. We'll go to day 2. So we've got deadlift from the floor. So we click that. Let's say we're doing 6 again with a nice slow tempo. Copy and paste that because I know the jump is going to be the same rep scheme. We'll go seated. No tempo and a jump. Dumbbell press. So we're doing an 80 degree. We'll increase this to 10. So although we've got the standard exercise option to select here, these are suggested, these are the most used variations, you can go in and change it. So we've got all of these different option types. So let's make this a little funky, 1 1/4, and because that's 1 1/4, let's change the tempo to indicate where to do the quarter. And you see the icons disappear because you don't have that exercise set up, so it's something I'll have to film later. Row. Trap 3. Same rep scheme. Whoops. What we got? So we've got forearm work with that. So we'll do some sort of wrist curl. Elbows locked. Done. So instead of showing you the exact same thing, I'll show you something different with the assistance movement. So again, with the deadlift, maybe we're changing the scheme to 1 now. It's just 1 long eccentric. The jump has progressed to standing. We'll leave it at 5 reps. And the dumbbell press is now going to be peaking with a 70 degree dumbbell press. Pause overhead so we can increase the intensity. The row, progress it to kneeling, but the pause at the arm length, we have to overcome inertia a little bit. This is changing to a power raise, so we'll go like that. But what we're going to do is give you something different. So again, that assistance 20 changes into 15, but we do have different assistance rep schemes. So now we've got 20, 15, 12. Put the pause at the bottom. That will change to that. And you can see that we've got a different repetition scheme. Although I need to get rid of the spread when it fixes, when it comes out of that. And again, we can do the same thing with this, but let's change it to a grip hold first. We can keep it on a peaking rep scheme there. One more day to go. So we've got behind the neck press. So this I will have to select manually. You can see all the different option types we've got, so you can create the exact movement of your dreams. All good there. And then we've got a chin up indicator to be paired with this. Semi-supinated narrow. Overemphasized eccentric. Into a back squat with a leg curl. So in the other squat, we've got not pausing. So with this squat, we will pause. We use a safety bar. I like using unilateral in the first phase for quite a few people. Toes inwards, leg curls are fast twitch fiber, so I'm going to reduce the reps. That's got a leg curl in, and then we're finishing up with reverse hyper and a power press. So let's take the same theme, go unilateral with the reverse hyper. Actually, let's change it completely. So we can go bilateral and then show you a different scheme. 24, 8, 16 would indicate that's a drop set. So you're doing 24 total reps. The rep scheme will be 8 reps. You're going to reduce the weight anywhere from 5 to 20% and do a further 16 because that is quite a few reps. Let's go less on the tempo. There. And then sometimes I'll actually go back in and just make sure they understand that it's also a drop set by selecting the drop set rep type. What do we got for a pal-off? We're not going to do a drop set and a pal-off because you'd be there all bleeding day. So we'll do seated pal-off press. Boom. So that's day 3 set up. Copy that down to week 5. The behind the neck press is turning into a standing Olympic press with a log. So we go standing, Olympic style press, log, and deselect the other elements. Make sure there's nothing else selected down, go back up. I don't want to do 8, that's way too many reps because we're peaking a nice quick tempo. And that's going to be paired now with a pull-up. A little pause at the top, wide grip. Back squat, let's go to high bar. So the front squat is now paused. So let's take the pause out. A little pause at the top to allow them to increase intensity because it's like a little rest. And then the leg curl, done plantar flexed. So let's go dorsal neutral. It's gone down to 5 reps. A little pause at the bottom. So you've got to overcome inertia. Reverse hyper is staying. You'll notice the reverse hyper even is now, the progression went to 18 reps. So start at 24. You can see the different rep scheme in there. And we'll change that. We'll put reverse hyper with a neck harness and we'll make it drop set still. That's fine. Pal-off press is changing to a kneeling windmill. So that is each workout all sorted. We can go back to the overview. You can see them all in one line so we can look across. This blue highlight will mean that this is an assistance pairing. You don't have to do an assistance pairing. Generally, you're only going to do 3 series. That's all you've got time for. Make sure that's fine. Make sure that's okay. We're all happy. Then we click tick. And it's now created your 8-week program in its entirety. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can go into each workout, double check things. So it's week 2. You can now see that it says add a set, reduce the rep, and it's following the rep scheme exactly as we wanted. I don't know how long that took, but as you can see, it is so quick to design a fully periodized 8-week program for any of your athletes. But you can still now go in and edit. So the peak week, by the time I take the eccentric out, and then I'll put a note, no eccentric this week, and then be able to see that. So you can add notes, talk to your athlete, edit things. But that is how quick it is to design a full 8-week program on a Norwegian in 3 days.